Ah, damn it. Okay, Lizard, you can pick on me later because I did fuck that up. Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people of the internet. I'm Mango Jones. I unmuted my mic, so all is well. Uh, this morning I was going to talk about reality shows that should have never been created, but I changed my mind because I found something better. So before we get into it, as always, in my description, there are links to LGBTQIA resource hubs for individuals and their families. There are links to uh, domestic violence resources. There are links to reproductive rights resources. There are links to my donation thingies, but I would really honestly prefer you donate to the Satanic Temple Reproductive Rights Legal Aid Fund because of the good work that they do. So, also in the description are the links to the other members of the Stream Pervs family, such as Pearlfish, Sir Little Wolf, Widow Sun, Slim Cyborg, Pie Parrot, all those lovely people. So, yeah. Oh, yes. This book. This book. This is what we're reading this morning, or at least starting, because I have a couple hours before my next work thing. So, this is what we are reading. And I am so excited. So very excited. Um, if anyone has tried to hit me up in DMs on Discord, please be advised that I am still working on myself. I had a realization last night that it is time to take back my confidence that I had before. So we're getting there. Today's a good day. I am in a great mood. We are going to read a terrible book. Okay, so yesterday, I ended up getting like a 3-hour nap before work, right? And then I ended up uh staying up until like midnight. So I ran on 3 hours of sleep yesterday. So I did that. That was a thing. But yeah, I do have regrets about staying up all night the night before, even though it was a ton of fun getting to stream with Ali Dean, Human Being, at 3 in the morning. It was great. Yes, I must own myself. Oh, before we get started reading the book, I would just like to put out there that according to US Code 17, subsection 103, subject matter of copyright, compilations, and derivative works, this qualifies as a derivative work. I can read this book on here, but I will not show it just in case. Yeah, I found the codes. I found the proper US codes so that I can do this without having to worry. And if anyone needs a copy of that US code because they are in the US and would like to read a book on stream without showing it, I will send it to you. So I'm just going to chat with you guys and give other people a minute to come in. Can y'all hear the background music okay? Like, is that working? Because I've never done the whole background music thing before, and I want to make sure that it's nice and calming and not overbearing. Yeah, I know. I need to. I want an Oculus Rift. I don't have an Oculus. No? Okay, hold on. Because I've been doing all the things. Do. I just had it open. I had the setting open. Where did it go? What did I do? Fuck something up. Do y'all hear it now? Mayhaps? Let's see. I'm doing it through the share system audio on StreamYard. I just had the volume down too low. That was it. Aha. Yeah, I'm figuring this out. I'm doing the thing. Of course it did, because apparently I just have to have this pulled up at all times in order for y'all to be able to hear it. which is kind of silly in my opinion since I'm sharing the system audio. I don't know. I'm just gonna slide that over there and then pull that back up. Yes, I know my backgrounds are amazing. Okay, is it still there by chance? Because I clearly have no idea what I'm doing. Good morning, Anna. It's nice to see you. If it went again, then I'm just not going to worry about it because I'm talking to you guys and I'm going to read a book. Yeah, see, I'm fucking everything up this morning. It's okay. We'll figure this out later. It's fine. Yes, everyone enjoy my backgrounds. You can hear it, but it's faint. Okay. Well, then I'm just not going to bother. I'll figure it out later. It's fine. Who cares? It's a morning. But it's okay because I'm still in a great mood. All is well. Oh. Okay, so Ladies First was written by someone that goes by the pen name of Liberty Adams. And now Liberty Adams, this is her description. Liberty Adams lives in the wide open spaces west of the Rockies, where she writes wholesome, light-hearted romance about patriots who love America, love President Trump, and best of all, fall in love at the end of each story. Liberty is the pen name of an author who wears the hats of mom, wife, and community volunteer. She proudly owns and wears several assorted MAGA hats of her own. Isn't it lovely, everyone? She's got the assorted MAGA hats that she wears, and she writes books. Some of these books include just 2 books. It's pretty great. Justice for Mary Beth and Ladies First, MAGA Hat Romance Book 1, which is what we're going to read today, is Ladies First. Justice for Mary Beth is apparently also a MAGA Hat romance, and it's book number 3, but we can't find book number 2. What happened to book number 2 there, Liberty? Did you perhaps fuck up somewhere? Yes, Hyun, it is wonderful. Okay, so as with all books, the very beginning tells you that this is a work of fiction. Names, characters, businesses, places, events, locales, and incidents are either the products of the author's imagination or used in a fictitious manner. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental, which tickles me so fucking much because it literally takes place at a Trump rally. Yes, the first setting of this book is a Trump rally. The Donald Trump 2020 rally. I love this. Oh, and this series is dedicated to MAGA patriots everywhere. Just so everyone knows. Quite the dedication. For her acknowledgement, she goes, for family, friends, fellow writers, critics, and coaches who helped me. Thank you. And for President Trump, whose MAGA movement inspired this series. Good on you, lady. I'm going to go wash out a Carlisle. Ooh. Oh, yes. Trump rallies absolutely are fake. Obviously there's some issues. See, I thought it was Carlisle, but I just thought I'd ask because I'm fucking everything else up today. I might as well fuck up pronunciations too, you know? But yes, this book is based off of a very fake event. The very fake Trump rallies. And it's okay. Good morning, Widow Son. It's very nice to see you. Are you ready to read this terrible book with me and talk about it? Because it's going to be great. I'm in such a great mood today. Okay. Let's dive in to this wonderful thing here. A red blur greeted Ricky from inside the rapid transit trolley car as it whizzed past and came to a stop. She adjusted the waistband of her low-slung jeans and took her place at the front of the throng waiting on the platform. Inside the car, not many were preparing to exit. She hated it when large events crowded the ridership on her line. This one, a Trump victory rally coming just weeks after President Trump's inauguration, explained all the red, making her hate it even more. She braced herself for the inevitable pushing and shoving, even though the thought of getting anywhere near one red-clad rally-goer, let alone surrounded by them. The doors opened. She leaped forward, determined to make this car. Her destination was the same rally as many of the passengers she loathed. She had to get on now before she lost her nerve and changed her mind about attending. Riders spilled out, thwarting Ricky's progress. Room in the car was disappearing, and then an opening. From experience riding the line, Ricky knew just how to time her next move. She hunched down small, ready to shoot the gap, but a Hulk at her left elbow stepped into it. No! She grabbed the Hulk's arm and tried to squeeze past. The Hulk stopped, then smiled when he saw her. Immediately, he stepped out of the way, blocking a wall of bodies. He ushered her forward with a gallant gesture. "Ladies first," he said. Ah, a redneck. What? The kind that drew her automatic disdain. Ricky scowled. For good measure, she used the toe of one of his steel-capped work boots as a stepping stone and set her elbow in the vicinity of the Hulk's ribcage. Men like this only existed in the world of her father and brother, who were holdouts to a version of masculinity that was rapidly disappearing. According to fourth-wave feminism, most of the rest should have been reduced to blithering apologetics by now. Still, it was handy to have her way cleared. She stepped inside and searched for a strap or grab room on the overhead bar, but the Hulk hadn't finished. "I insist." A single empty seat remained. He continued to block the swell of commuters while he pointed at the seat, smiling at her to take it. Okay, guys. Good morning, Brown Girl Life. It is absolutely wonderful to see you here. I am so sorry. Yes, it very clearly is a real page turner. Clearly. I'm... yeah. I hate nice people, but I'm going to take advantage of their niceness and I'm going to marry him. Yeah, pretty much. Except, see, Brown Girl Life, what you have to realize is that Ricky is a green-haired liberal who has to go to a Trump rally because she works for the media. Yeah, that's where we're at. Oh, and the Hulk is a redneck who doesn't subscribe to fourth-wave feminism. This is great. This is great. I fucking love this shit. Good morning, KM. Oh, hey, Midwest. Oh, just wait, Brown Girl Life. We're about to get into more. Behind them, she felt many sets of eyes, all trained on that seat. What was he trying to do? This type she could dispatch with ease. "You're holding up the show," she said. She grabbed hand space on the bar and glared at him. "Oh, you do talk." He was still smiling. She looked away, not knowing how to respond. In that second, Harold slithered between them and parked his butt on the empty seat. Harold was a regular on the line, like Ricky. Normally she did her best to ignore him, but today she gave him a fist bump. She gave him a fist bump, you guys. Oh, it's amazing. Just one simple gesture of hello. Crazy. "Attaboy, Harold," she said. The rest of the car laughed as the train moved. Like, why is it funny? Why is it funny? Okay. "Loser," came a voice. It wasn't clear who the shouter was targeting. Harold sat with his knees closed, the very image of detoxed masculinity. He wore a black watch cap. A scrawny beard feathered his jaw. Ricky thought he was simply repulsive. He'd struck up a conversation with her once, quietly suggesting they meet for coffee sometime, a topic she'd firmly quashed. She'd spent her entire graduate program perfecting the art of rejecting men. In this, her final semester, she could, and sometimes did, give lessons in it. I already feel she deserves a fist bump to the face with a freight train. Okay, Pearl. This is what a conservative thinks a liberal is like. I would not necessarily call myself a liberal. I am left-leaning, but there are some gray areas in politics. But this image of Ricky, this giving lessons in rejecting men, Ricky, is most definitely exactly what conservatives think about liberals. And it's fucking hilarious to me. Because, no. It's not how this works. This is never how it works. Okay. Let's continue, shall we? I literally know a woman like this, and she is married to a Harold. I work with her. Oh, so he detoxed from the masculinity. Oh, this is wonderful. She hadn't sat through a single miserable date in ages. Well, neither have I, bitch, but there's a reason. In fact, she hadn't had a good date either, but that wasn't the point. Jesus Christ. As a feminist about to graduate with a master's degree in gender studies, dating was a mark of shame. She'd had a few dates during her undergrad years, all of which began and ended in complete awkwardness. Well, maybe because you wrote her like she's a fucking bitch. What? Across the narrow center aisle, crowded with bodies, the Hulk rumbled his disapproval. "Uh-huh," he said. "You defile the memory of my grandfather." So he was upset she didn't fall for his guy games. What does that mean? What does that mean? Can someone tell me what that meant? Like, we're all listening to the same thing, right? What does his grandfather have to do with shit? Okay, anyway. So confusing. She was about to cut him down to size verbally, along with his grandfather. But the purpose for her rally-attending mission made her clamp her mouth shut. She might need this guy later. He'd already furnished... Wow. He'd already furnished her with some juicy man-hate. Fodder for the blog post she planned to write for her blog. Petra's Parlance. Yes, Liberty Adams. Liberty Adams. She owns many MAGA hats of her own in various styles that she likes to wear. But that's just her pen name. She lives in the Rockies, and she's a mother. Community volunteer. A bitch. Amen. Unlike some of the other passengers, his wardrobe gave no indication of his destination. She didn't know where he was headed. He wore a white button-down shirt, the kind with the embroidered pony like her father wore. The shirt was tucked into a pair of work pants with no belt. His heavy work boots were hulking and oversized like the rest of him. A dusty imprint remained on the toe where she had stepped. She kept her attention on him, mostly because of the way she was facing. He reached up to the overhead bar. His reach up to the overhead bar was easy, relaxed. His head nearly touched it, and his elbow was bent at a complete angle. What? Anyway, she stood a head shorter. She had to stretch all the way up to reach. He was trim and fit, despite his size, with working man's hands and large and rough, and his face was handsome in a rugged rather than pretty way. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yep, okay. Okay. She glanced at Harold and immediately saw the difference. Man versus boy. Are you implying here that liberal men, who are men, by the way, are boys? Liberty? Liberty, have you ever met a liberal man? Because most of them don't fall into the extremes of liberalism that you seem to be trying to perpetuate in this ridiculous book. Because I'm friends with many men. Some of them work laboring jobs. Some of them work at a desk. Some of them 3D print penises with Putin's face on them. There's many different careers out there. Just a thought. And it doesn't differentiate between man and boy. What differentiates between man and boy is usually puberty. But I assume that you didn't learn anything in, like, sex ed. I don't know. The man wore his hair in a Kennedy-esque frat boy cut, a feature she loathed, even though it was the same style as her dad. You keep, Liberty, honey, sweet summer child. Do you have daddy issues? Because, Ricky keeps bringing up her dad. Is this projection? Because, I mean, I have daddy issues. I'll gladly say that I have daddy issues. But, I'm not about to write this weird MAGA fan fiction and prominently feature my daddy issues. Just saying. Did he also hunt? She swept away the thought. Her father's passion, if known by the sisterhood, might have her application for membership revoked. What the fuck is the sisterhood? Am I in the sisterhood? Where's the sisterhood coming from? Fellow left-leaning ladies, if there is a sisterhood out there that I am unaware of, can I join? One application. Shit. God damn. Okay. Ricky couldn't bear to risk rejection from the university's most prestigious feminist activist group. They wouldn't call it the sisterhood, first of all. Sisterhoods usually feature traveling pants. Anyway. Her last task remaining before her entry into full membership was to attend this rally and write a blog post about it. Okay. Then, after Friday's membership tea would come her long-promised reward to herself, a tattoo she'd wanted since she was a kid. Bitch, just go get the tattoo. What? Huh? The festive mood on the train lifted her earlier dour spirits. If nothing else, these red-clad cultists had enthusiasm on their side. For a fraction of a second, she even looked forward to the rally. Then she remembered who she was, and her reason for going snapped her back to the present and her mission. Just Googled sisterhood. Yeah. When the trolley stopped, she was at the door, the first passenger to step off. She wanted to get a good seat. That was the entire first chapter, you guys. That was like 4 pages of writing. That was the first chapter. Okay, we're 25 minutes into this stream, and I have a few hours, so we might just finish this whole fucking book right here, right now. Okay, well, I'm fucking everything up this morning, like I said. All right. Anyway, I hit a button on my mouse and it like took me out of the studio. It's a great fucking morning. Anyway, Sisterhood is an international platform for the voices of women of Muslim heritage, founded in 2007. Yeah, she would not fit in there. You didn't break my stream. I'm just... it's a fun morning, you guys. It's a fun morning. It is. Let's dive into chapter 2 of this thing, shall we? In this venue of perfect fools, Ricky decided she was the wise mother. But it was a low bar to meet. All around her sat the alt-right dupes, each one a replica of the next, and all engaged in an absurd dance of handshakes and backslaps. You mean greeting each other? Like people do? Liberty, do you think that liberals don't know what handshakes and backslaps are and don't regularly do them when they see friends? Are you really this disillusioned about people? My God, woman. Like, you know, there are liberals that like play football and stuff, and they like pat each other on the back and stuff. Oh, hi, Bifus. Sorry, the doggo just entered the room. Hello, bud. Hello. Yes, hi, hello. Anyway, these people were the locus of injustice beneath contempt. The sisterhood must see this. She pulled out her camera phone and snapped away at the incoming crowd, capturing some t-shirt and spandex-clad women. They smiled and waved as they passed. Ricky smiled back. She laughed inwardly at their ignorance of her motives. She began to relax at how easy this was. What, do you think this is some sort of top secret mission or something? It's a fucking rally. Do you know how many people go to rallies to write blog posts about them from any side of the political spectrum? Like, Jesus Christ, Liberty. We need to have a conversation. Like, I need to introduce you to people and tell you about how people act and are. Guys, I am so sorry. Both of the dogs are in here just like licking my legs. This is weird. Hi, Lucy. Ah! Yes, Lucy. Hi, Lucy. Yes, hi, hello. Oh my God, can y'all go on about y'all's business? Oh my God. All right, go. Both of you. Out. Out. Thank you. Love you guys. Okay. Wait, I might have got this wrong. I thought she was a journalist, so why the fuck is she relying on a camera phone? Because she's not a journalist. She is a college student who's writing a blog post. Yeah. This is where we're at. She's a liberal, wants to join something called the Sisterhood. It's all complicated. It's convoluted. It's one of those things. But yes, we're just so happy with Ricky and what she's doing. Why don't we see what else she does, shall we? Because apparently this is too easy. She's so relaxed now, you guys. She chose a seat in the front row, near a set of risers occupied by the media. They were a mass of cords and tripods with cameras, all manned by techs trying to not trip over the stylish, on-air personalities. She wondered what it would be like to have to cover someone so offensive and full of hate. From here, she had a clear, though distant, view of the podium, with good lines of sight to the floor activity amidst the alt-right masses. Is this seat saved? She would at least feign politeness. The spot was in front of a gaggle of suburban-type women, all well coiffed and manicured. Who'd elected a pussy-grabbing rapist for their leader over the most well-qualified candidate who happened to be a woman? The woman next to the chosen seat patted it and smiled, glancing at Ricky's green-toned platinum pixie. "It's all yours, hun," she said. "Thanks," said Ricky, and sat down. Hun. When was the last time she'd been called hun? Sometime in high school, by the nurse probably. She pulled out her phone and tapped in a few notes. Hun. Misogynist. Disrespect. Lack of awareness. It's not... Whew. Okay, look. There are some people that take offense to being called hun. But most of the time, those people usually weren't born and raised in the South of the United States, like in the southern states, because we call everyone hun, honey, sweetheart, sweet. Yeah. We are full of all of these names. And if someone says, "Hey, can you not call me that?" We don't, because we're polite for the most part. I can be a bit of a bitch, but it's neither here nor there. But it's not misogyny for a woman to call another woman hun. It's not disrespect or lack of awareness. You just have to open your fucking mouth. Liberty. Do you not know how fucking people work? Oh my God. Ricky sat back in her cushioned seat, taking in the upbeat crowd. She actually marveled at how different the mood was here. An almost infantile cheer. It was such a contrast to her own side's crowd, always accompanied by shouting and rage that often spilled over into violence. Liberty. I know this book came out in 2020. I know it did. Do you still stand by these words that you wrote, knowing what happened on January 6, 2021? Do you still stand by these? I really want to know if you still stand by these words. I mean, I know you're clearly still writing books for the MAGA Hat romance series, but a little bit of self-awareness would be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway. Rage. Rage and anger had become driving forces in her life, expressed by her once cosmetic indulgence of black nail polish and lipstick. Oh, and the hair. Green, her choice today, all served the rage. It fueled her activism against a world in a state of perpetual injustice. But rage was not the face for today. Especially not with this bunch. Rage was out of place here, as her hair and makeup colors. But so far, the makeup and hair hadn't caused more than a glance. Yeah, because people see that type of shit every single... Liberty, do you go outside? Have you touched grass in a while? You should touch some grass. It's good for you. A cheer sounded across the arena. 2 younger men carried one elderly man down the stairs into a seat. A standing ovation on both sides of the aisle accompanied them. Ricky turned to the trad wife next to her. "What's going on?" she pointed. Her seatmate studied the situation. "A veteran," she finally said. "They do it a lot. World War II, Korea, Vietnam maybe. The president loves to introduce them at rallies." She turned her attention on Ricky. For the first time, she took in her hair, then her face, then glanced at her black painted nails. "This your first rally?" So people attend these more than once? Yes, she said. Veterans. People she almost never thought about. Veterans were certainly not people she and the sisterhood openly celebrated. In fact, more than a few of them showed an open contempt that shocked even Ricky. Veterans, and even the police, she'd been taught growing up, were among the best and bravest Americans, even though no member of her family had served. Her friends ridiculed the notion of putting your life on the line to protect the country, and she'd always gone along with that attitude. Okay. Liberty. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a great number of veterans in this country that do not receive the services that they need. They are homeless. They are jobless. They are trying to do what they can to survive. They are dealing with things like addiction. And do you know who usually helps to advocate for those things are who you would consider to be liberals? Oh, did you know that there's a lot of veterans, a lot of people that did go out and put their lives on the line that now have a mindset that you would consider liberal? You know that when people usually help others, it's an act of kindness and they don't get a standing ovation from a whole bunch of people for it? Liberty, touch grass. All the grass. Maybe smoke some grass. Do something. Abuse of self-insertion. Yep. Okay. Let's continue. Because I've got time. I am in a great mood, even though this book is terrible. Let's figure out what Liberty is wrong about in even more ways. Grass would help. Indeed. Oh, by the way, just so you guys know, I did not have to pay for this book. I didn't shell out any money to read this to you guys today. So, yeah. I don't worry. I didn't waste money on this. This is fucking terrible. And even though, by the way, Liberty, do not start sentences with "and." Thank you. Because it just sounds so off, especially when someone is pausing while reading to evaluate your work. Good morning. Well, we're already in chapter 2 because the chapters are apparently only like 4 or 5 pages long. Liberty needs to go outside and touch some grass, smoke some grass. Yeah, that's where we're at. Also, I'm in a great mood today, so we're there too. Let's continue, shall we? And even though Ricky did not quite share it, she would neverly open challenge their beliefs. The woman was perky and cute. Her nose wrinkled when she smiled. Welcome. Glad you came. I hope you have fun here. Sure, said Ricky. It's great. She wondered how she could ask the woman about blacks, gays, intersectionality. Wow. What? Well, that was out of nowhere. Okay. She wondered how she could ask the woman about blacks, gays, intersectionality. Oh, and she capitalized the word blacks, just so everyone knows. I'll take a screenshot of that and let you guys see it for yourself here soon. But yeah, she did that. Good job, Liberty. You did a thing. Whew. Nothing in her persona, her dress, or her casual conversing gave Ricky any clue to her views on race or injustice. In fact, for the nearly full hour Ricky had been inside the venue, she hadn't even a glimpse of what she came to see. She decided to take a walk around the place. Go racist hunting. She turned to the lady. Excuse me. She stood up slightly and put her hoodie on the chair. I'm going to walk a bit. Could you save my seat, please? The woman, a redhead, smiled and stuck out her hand. Of course, what's your name? Ricky wondered if she was shaking hands with an actual racist. I'm Ricky, she said. Nice to meet you, Ricky. I'm Marilyn. The woman patted the seat of Ricky's chair. See you later. Liberty. This is not how people work. So she's never seen black? Yes, apparently. Liberty Adams has never seen black people before. Because she calls them blacks. I mean, I give her credit for not saying the blacks, because that's even worse. But, yeah, that sentence was just all sorts of bad. All sorts of bad. So bad. All of this is terrible. I love it. Okay. Let's apparently we're going racist hunting with Ricky now, so let's see if she finds racists at the Trump rally in this book that's written by a conservative. I'm thinking that we won't, and there are going to be some lies. Good morning, Two Guns. It's nice to see you. We're reading a terrible book written by a conservative about liberals, and yeah, it's no. It is not good. It is not good. Okay. Let's continue on. A promenade that separated the lower from the upper seating levels ringed the arena. Ricky strolled it, watching. Up above, seats were filling in quickly. Below on the floor swarmed almost unbelievable numbers of security. Some were venue employees in orange t-shirts, manning each section of seats, directing rally-goers here and there. One group, all dressed in identical khaki-colored polos with matching work pants and sturdy black boots, caught Ricky's attention. Ricky made her way back to the floor level to get a closer look. They were fascinating to watch. All were young and muscular, even the two women she saw, and all but one of the men had full-sleeve tattoos of varying designs. The woman's tattoos were less prominent, but still visible. Ricky looked closely at the designs. She hadn't quite decided yet on her own tattoo design. Wait a minute. Excuse me. Oh, I burped. Anyway, so just a little bit ago, we read that if Ricky completed her task of writing a blog post about this rally and getting into the feminist activist group at her college, the Sisterhood, while finishing her master's degree in gender studies, she would get the tattoo that she had wanted since she was a child. Bitch, you don't know what it is yet? Liberty. Liberty. Your book doesn't make sense. Okay. Anyway. She watched one woman in particular. Olive complected. She had coal black hair pulled into a tight knot, large eyes heavily lined in kohl, and sensual full lips. Why did you have... Liberty, you're supposed to be a conservative wife and mother. Are you having the gay thoughts? It's okay if you are. They're fun. She was tall and shapely, beautiful and very tough looking. Ricky doubted she would have much trouble taking down 90% of the attendees in the place. There were far more men in the Corps, but they were mostly just muscle-bound. Ricky wondered how they could run or jump. Their biceps and shoulders stretched the shirt material nearly to the ripping point, and their thighs resembled tree trunks. Has the author ever... I do not think she has. I do not think that she knows any people. I do not think she understands how people operate or work. I know for a fact that she has no clue what a liberal is, because this is her, a conservative, writing a liberal from a conservative perspective, and it's very obvious that she needs to touch grass and smoke grass and stop writing books. That's what she needs to do. This is where we're at. The posture of both the men and the women was spine stiff straight, and they walked with a confident swagger. They seemed not at all distracted by the booming music or fazed by the raucous crowd, now engaged in making an endless wave loop circling the arena. You're not wrong. With people laughing like hell. Indeed, the security detail were intent on each other, keeping each other in sight, greeting each other when they passed. They watched the crowd closely, weaving among the folks standing on the floor in front of the podium. She decided to go back up to the entrance lobby and find the restrooms. Uncertain of where to go, and a bit disappointed she hadn't spotted any overt racism. Okay. She was shocked when she turned a corner and nearly collided with a group of college-aged youth. College-aged youth. College-aged youth. Several of them persons of color. Just as shocking were the whites in their midst. Yeah, you wrote that. You wrote that. You published this. People can buy this, like, in paperback for $4. What are you doing? Anyway, at least two of the group wore red MAGA hats. They all carried rally signs. It shattered her expectations. She'd ignored the sprinkle of Hispanics, Asians, and blacks in the crowd as she waited in line earlier, thinking them merely outliers, betrayers to the resistance cause. But this, up close and literally in her face, she could not deny. As she tried not to gape, they stepped around her pleasantly, smiling like the rest of the racists. Yeah, she wrote these things, you guys. This is... Satan helped that woman know the truth or something. Yes, she does need to know the truth. She needs to know a lot of things. But right now, what she knows is that she is at a Trump rally. There had been a sprinkling of, I'm quoting this, you guys, Hispanics, Asians, and blacks in the crowd, but she thought they were outliers. But, you know, they smiled and went past her like the rest of the racists. Liberty, you don't know how people work. This is not it. This is... You'd rather die from... You're not going to die from exposure. Like, I already said this, dude. No, not happening. You're going to suffer through this book because, well, you're at work and there's nothing else to listen to. Haha. Yes, the racists. Very much trademarked. The racists. Yeah. One of them flashed a thumbs up sign. What she'd been told was the president's secret sign to the whitest of his base. It would have made sense, except it was one of the black youths who flashed it. She walked on and then saw a stand that said Resolve Gun Club and Rifle Range. Okay, first of all, a thumbs up is not some sort of secret symbol. That is some QAnon shit. Quit talking about the black youths. You also keep capitalizing the word black. Liberty, how racist are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Because I think it's like a 20. And I think that you're being very strategic about your writing so that we don't think that you're the racist. That's just my thoughts on it, though. How do you use the ubiquitous gesture like thumbs up for a secret society? Oh, you don't. I half expected her to employ some euphemistic words like urban youths. No, but instead it's just the black youths. Yeah. I was told there would be no reading. There's plenty of reading, Wilson. Also, good morning. Just so everyone is aware, Wilson also owns this dress. He calls it pajamas. He looks stunning in it. His tits look better than mine, to be quite honest. Also, he makes his lasagna with cottage cheese. Thank you. Pay dirt. No guns in sight, though, just signs and literature. But how to approach them? She walked up to a nearby table with t-shirts for sale and pretended to inspect the merchandise. Eventually, there was only one man with a full beard standing behind the gun club table. He smiled and touched the brim of a black felt cowboy hat. "Good day, little lady," he said. "Would you like to become a member?" She shook her head. "No," she said, "but I have questions." "Ask away." "I'd like to buy an assault rifle." The man's eyes narrowed. "What's an assault rifle?" he said. He wasn't smiling. Liberty. Fuck off. Ricky did not know what to say. Was he joking? "Well," she began, "you know, an assault rifle." He stared at her like she was crazy. "No," he said. "I don't know." Then she saw a poster of one, right behind him. It was a black metal rifle, bold and wicked looking. The sight of it made her hate juices flow. "There," she pointed. "Like that." Guys, hate juices. Let them flow. Always, always let your hate juices flow. Please. Please do. Especially towards this book. Okay? This is worse writing than Shatner's acting. Yes. It is. It absolutely is. The man turned around and looked. He began to laugh. "Oh, that's what you're talking about?" He looked at her more closely. "That's an AR-15. The AR stands for Armalite Rifle. You want to buy one of those?" She nodded slowly. "Yes." "Well, first you have to pass a background check." "Background check?" She wished she hadn't started this. "Honey," he said kindly, "have you ever taken a firearm safety course?" "No." "Have you ever shot a gun before?" "Yes," she said. "I've hunted with my father and brother, but that was a long time ago." "Okay." He seemed to regard her a bit more seriously. He handed her a business card. "I suggest you start with the safety course. We offer them at the range for free through the NRA." The club logo and contact info were on the card. "You can find out more here." Okay. That's not how it goes down ever. Liberty. That is not how people buy guns. See, also, everyone should know what an assault rifle is. They aren't going to lie and be like, "I don't know what that is," because that's not how it fucking works. They're going to be like, "Okay, what type? Do you have a specific one in mind? What are you using it for? What would you prefer? Like, there's a way to buy guns, and then there's a way to sound like you've never bought a gun in your life, and that's what you're doing here. Yes, there is a background check that you're supposed to have to do, but if you go to something like a gun show, they usually like just do a very brief background check that doesn't really deep dive into anything, and you can have a gun in your hand in like 20 minutes. It's that easy. Oh, and there are people that buy guns from other people all the time. In fact, there are people that have bought guns, gone to legally register them under their name, and then it comes back that the gun was stolen. So the person that was trying to legally register a purchased firearm gets arrested. Liberty. Get some grass in you, honey. Fuck. Bought a gun at a gun show and they ran a normal check, but private sales don't require it in many places. That's absolutely correct. They don't. But yeah, whether or not a gun show runs a normal check or just like a small check really depends on where you live and what the laws in each individual state are about it. I live in the South. South don't care. Unless you're trying to register a stolen firearm as your own. Yeah. Gotta love it. Ricky looked at the card, hiding her disappointment. She halfway hoped he would tell her how easy it would be to obtain the hated rifle, offer some kind of insider loophole information she could share with her sisterhood friends and on the blog. What? There's never been any, like, insider information on gun purchasing. You just Google that shit. Liberty. Liberty, why do you think that liberals or left-leaning people are so stupid? Is this more projection? Are you just unaware of how things work? Because I think that's where we're at right now, is you're stupid. Okay, continuing on. Thanks, she said. She had a sudden idea. Hey, can I get a picture with you? The man looked puzzled but shrugged. Sure, he said. Happy to have one small thing work out to her advantage, she recruited a passerby to snap a picture. The black rifle poster made the perfect backdrop, though it lacked the cachet of blatant racism. You keep bringing up racism. How many times have I read the word racism? Absolutely ridiculous. Hey, J-Mag. Nice to see you. It would be proof of her attendance. Maybe she could find someone else to get a photo with. Thanks, she said. She walked away, then turned back to wave. He had his hands on his hips and was looking at her with a slight air of suspicion. No racist yet, but guns. She was getting close. She decided to go back to her seat, strike up a conversation with her seatmate. Perhaps her friends might spill the beans on their certain racism. All she needed was one, and then she stopped. It was another man, walking toward her, with a Democrats for Trump t-shirt. A traitor from her own party. But at least they could find some common ground in the party. It didn't seem she needed to have an excuse to talk to people. Everyone was exceedingly friendly, even kind. Feeling nearly desperate for some validation of her original theory that she would find the true hatred on this side of the divide, she approached him. Okay, so Ricky is at the Trump rally. Let's do a brief recap for everyone that might be joining in. So We're in chapter 2 of this book. Ricky has a pixie cut, green hair, is a liberal, feminist, fourth wave feminist, actually. She is getting her master's degree in gender studies. She wants to join the Sisterhood, which is a feminist activist group on her college campus. And part of her application process is to go to this Trump rally and take pictures and write a blog post about it. And from there, she has to continue to perpetuate the terrible idea that Trump supporters are racist. That's where we're at. Liberty Adams has never touched grass. She's never talked to people. She keeps calling people blacks. She's also said the black youths in this. Yeah. So that's where we are. Let's continue on, shall we? Excuse me. She stuck out her hand. My name is Ricky. The man shook her hand. Like every other person in the place, he had a warm, friendly manner, completely open and sincere. Hi, Ricky. I saw your t-shirt and I was wondering, would you mind answering a few questions? Are you a journalist? She wasn't. Not really. No, she said. I'm a graduate student, but I'm a Democrat like you. The man's smile grew bigger. Welcome, he said. Ask away. In this hall full of people who were complete aliens to her, Ricky was not sure how to phrase her questions or what to ask first. But as a Democrat, he could, she hoped, clear up some misconceptions. So you voted for this guy? The man looked down at his shirt. Trump? He said. You betcha. He's taking care of the country. Us, the little guy, like no other president ever. So yes, I voted for him. Good day, miss. No. Stop it. No. Nope. No. 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 Miss, good day. What was with these men anyway? She thought of the lady's first redneck in the trolley car. Were they all like this? Wait, she said. He turned back, yes. Aren't you afraid of being called racist? You keep throwing this word around, Liberty. I don't think you know what it means. Anyway, the man threw back his head and laughed. If that's the worst thing I'm ever called, I'm doing pretty well. What did he mean? Yeah, but you're here with these people. You're one of them. One of what? Racists? What? Why did Homeboy just assume that she was going for the racist angle? Liberty. Liberty. Could you don't? Could you don't? Okay. I'll get a tax break with more take-home pay, add to my kids' college fund. Because of him, I can quit my extra job. We are planning for my wife to quit her job and stay home to raise the kids. We've talked about homeschooling. So for us, the numbers are way, way better. Know what I mean? If that makes me a racist, well, so be it. That has nothing to do with anything. Actually, it's likely that your wife is going to quit her current job and homeschool the kids because shit's expensive. And it reasonably, like, if you're going to have someone be a stay-at-home partner and you don't want to do public schooling, then it makes sense that you would do homeschooling. That has nothing to do with Trump, and that has everything to do with society as a whole, inflation, the fact that no one can seem to earn a living wage except for the already rich who just get richer. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Just a thought. Numbers may not lie, but she hated listening to this guy. He was spouting the talking points so ridiculed by the media. She had nothing but contempt for these people voting with their pocketbooks. She steeled herself, for she knew what was coming. I've lost friends over supporting this president. But like I said, my family is doing way better, and I can see a bright future for my kids. Beneath her skin, Ricky felt a flush of anger. In front of her stood a major traitor to her party, his party, the resistance, their movement, the very country itself. You're so dramatic, Liberty. God. Were the soap operas not cutting it? Is that how we ended up here? This man was standing up for a proven racist, by his own admission, by not denying it. Actually, it's generally not how it works. We know Trump's a racist. We do. Not because he didn't deny that he was a racist, but because of things that he has previously said that are on camera, the way that people that worked with him on things like The Apprentice have said about him and his actions towards people of color. We have all of the things having to do with the wall. Trump's racist, but not because of that. Not because of, denying that he's a racist, but because of his actions and his words. Ricky, go outside. Ricky, quit writing books. Ricky, do some research. Do something. Ricky, are you QAnon? I bet you're QAnon. Pretty sure you're QAnon. Anyway. By cavorting at this rally, and happily, with people who had voted for one. Quit starting sentences like that. And by... Were you taught at the dining room table too? The school of the dining room table really did everyone dirty with grammar, let me tell you. Moving along. Ugh. He pointed toward the arena. Those people want to raise their families and be left alone. They're not going to hurt anyone. Ricky, I know this came out in 2020, but again, I ask, have you heard about January 6, 2021? Because that was kind of a thing. That was a big thing, actually. That was a terrible thing. Yeah. He touched the word Democrat on his shirt. It's these people who are hurting the country. So, miss, he touched the brim of his MAGA cap. Now you know why I am at the rally. I hope I've answered your question. Have a good day. He walked away, leaving her shocked by his speech. What he had told her was the truth as he saw it, but to Ricky, it was doublespeak meant to cover up the intolerance of the marginalized. Ricky, Liberty, sweetheart, honey, do you know what these words mean? At all? No? Cool. She leaned against the wall and looked hard at the people rushing past her, all smiling and laughing, getting seats, crowding around the souvenir table. It was a display of diversity she seldom saw anywhere. More men were at the gun club table. Several young men were engaged in conversations. Smiles, laughter, arms waving, and big gestures, the sort of things she despised about men. What? Liberty! Bruh. I can't with you. I can't. I really can't with you. Liberty, do you hate men? Genuine question. Like, do you hate men? Because the way that you write about men, the way that you write about Ricky, despising their smile, their laughter, their arm waving because they're in conversation, do you genuinely fucking hate men? I have to know. Did your husband do that thing that my ex used to do where he would have you do literally everything? You know, he'd hand the baby off to you after, like, right after you take a shower because his time was done. Did he somehow expect you to raise the kids and do all the housework and do all the yard work and handle his parents and handle the bills and do everything? Because I mean, that'll cause some resentment to build. Trust me, been there, done that. But this is a bit extreme. Liberty, there's therapists that can help. Just saying. Therapy does help a lot. More worrisome was the lack of material for the blog post she had to write. How's that? What? She had encountered almost nothing of stereotypes that would be forced to embellish the gun guy and the suburban housewife seatmates. The rest would have to be conjured up. She took out her phone to take shots with her camera, while she thought she wanted to get random and candid photos of the people here for her blog post. It was difficult to stay true to the stereotype attendee. Women of all colors, sizes, and economic levels were everywhere. In fact, there must be at least as many women, if not more than men. She captured on screen a group of typical white guys, 4 in number, walking together. They wore matching t-shirts. Upon closer inspection, she was disappointed to read "Firefighters for Trump." Could she make something out of white male firefighters? Better than nothing. She snapped a pic with little enthusiasm. But her biggest problem, she realized, was eliminating young people, Asian, Hispanic, and blacks. Back to this again, Liberty? Okay. Nearly every frame contained minorities, the marginalized. She managed to click off a few totally white frames, but not nearly as many as she had expected. When she heard a huge roar from the crowd, she hurried back to her seat. It was her last chance, she thought, to find proof in the pudding. And that pudding would be Donald Trump. Surely there would be plenty of angry propaganda when he came out on stage. Ricky had a good ear for the alt-right's dog whistles. She would listen carefully to every word the president said. I'm listening to this on the way to Wendy's, and I can't even believe what I'm listening. Yep. This is a book. This is a book. It's a book. Yeah. So does anyone have any thoughts on chapter 2? Because that was the end of chapter 2. I know that all of the video that I have seen from Trump rallies have had varying levels of minorities. But liberals don't try and push this this weird lie that it's only all whites, because that's not true. There's always going to be some minorities that buy into it. You know, it happens. It's just part of life. But goddamn, Liberty, are you why are you like this? Who hurt you and why didn't it stick? I can't with you, lady. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. The fact that this book exists is disturbing. Do you know what's even more disturbing, J-Mag? The fact that it's a fucking series. This is book 1. There's more. There's more. somehow. I'm pro-gun, but also generally very liberal, and the way she's portraying all this is just infuriating. Yes, it is. I myself own an AR. Like, I do. I went to the gun range a couple days ago. It was nice. Shit happens. You find people like this, like Liberty, who think that just because there are people with specific ideals when it comes to economics, race, politics in general, that don't align with hers, that means that we must be on the opposite side of the spectrum for everything. And that's just, it's not the case. Like I said before, there are a lot of gray areas of politics. So maybe meet people and learn. This woman hasn't been outside on her own since she's been married and has been on Facebook since day one. Yes. I believe that. I absolutely fucking believe that. That would make the most sense. This book is a what the fuck is this kind of book? Yes, and that is why when I came across this yesterday, I was like, oh, yes, we are changing the topic for streaming tomorrow. I'm going to read this because if I need to suffer, everyone should suffer with me. And I love you guys for being here and suffering with me. It's great, isn't it? All right, you guys, let's get into chapter 3 because we're an hour and 17 minutes into this stream and these chapters are so short and I have paused to talk so much. We have made it to chapter 3. All right, let's do this. If the Republicans didn't use the word God so much, thought Ricky, they might be worth listening to. To help pass the time, and also to gather material for a clever lead-in to her blog post, Ricky decided to count the number of times the president used the name God in his speech. Even with the warm-up speakers, politicians, campaign personnel, and other public figures, God was freely invoked. If she also counted the Pledge of Allegiance and the 2 black women now leading the crowd in prayer, Ricky might have run out of fingers for counting before the president even took the stage. She wondered how the Star-Spangled Banner escaped without the mention of his name. In her own activist experience, Ricky could not recall anyone on her side using God as supreme being, guiding force, or higher power, although she had heard the name taken in vain many times. Okay. Let's talk about this for a second. What a way to start my work morning. Yeah, good morning, Ravenous Bean. I'm sorry. Okay, so the thing about politicians is that politicians abso-fucking-lutely can believe in whatever higher power they want. And a lot of times they can not believe in the higher power itself, but still use said higher power's name in speeches and things of that nature to gain votes. That's how people get votes. You can be the biggest fucking atheist in the world, run some sort of political campaign and be like, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And the conservatives would be like, oh, I like them. I like them. Just quote scripture a couple times, and you're going to get those votes. It's the way it works. I know that a lot of people have an issue with the Pledge of Allegiance saying, one nation under God, but something that you have to remember is that it is a relic of the time that it was written. So it was one nation under God at the time, because the separation of church and state was not as prominent as it is today. It's an entire thing. Oh, it's not just a MAGA romance book, Bill Portley. It is a MAGA romance series, but we're only on book 1. Also, I just want to address the fact that she said she wondered how the Star-Spangled Banner escaped without the mention of his name. If you want the Star-Spangled Banner to escape without the mention of God, it's really fucking easy, because God was never in the lyrics. God was never in the lyrics of the Star-Spangled Banner. Like, I don't know why she decided to bring that up, but yes. 2 guns. So the original pledge is actually from 1892, and in its original form, it did not have under God in it. You are absolutely correct. In 1954, in response to the communist threat of the times, President Eisenhower encouraged Congress to add the words under God, creating the 31-word pledge that we say today. You were close. 1954. Just read it. Don't worry. But yes, at the same time, in 1954, the separation of church and state still was not nearly as prominent as it is now. Yeah. I know you sit corrected. It's okay. I looked it up because I didn't want to speak out of pocket. This is a learning moment for everyone, guys. It's fun. And now we're going to go back to reading a terrible book. I'm so sorry. Ricky bowed her head for the prayer and stared at the tips of her toes. She could not help but peer up at the 2 black women on stage. The sight was even more unsettling than the diverse crowd of attendees she'd encountered earlier. What? What? The sight of 2 black women on stage saying a prayer over everyone in attendance at a rally is unsettling. Liberty on a scale of 1 to 10. Your racism is showing at a 100. Thank you. If Trump was a racist, if his supporters were racist, then why were these ladies given such a respected role? Even more puzzling was the lack of reaction of the people in the audience. Nobody, except her, seemed to think that this was anything unusual at all. She glanced sideways at Marilyn to find her praying engaged. Her eyes were shut, her hands folded, her lips were moving slightly, her head nodding. Ricky was discreet enough to wait to address Marilyn until they finished praying. Who are those women? She asked. Oh. They're Diamond and Silk, she said, without taking her eyes from the 2 retreating figures. As the raucous applause died down, Marilyn finally looked over at Ricky and grinned. 2 sisters from North Carolina. They're famous supporters since 2015. Aren't they great? Everyone loves them. But remember, you guys, this book, any relation to other women, any semblance of real people in this book, it's all fiction. Just remember that. These people are not real, even though they're giving exact times and dates and stuff like that at a Trump rally. President Donald Trump's rally. No, it has nothing to do with real people. Yep. Fucking Christ. Okay. Ricky didn't know exactly what Marilyn meant by 2015. Perhaps it referred to the early campaign, but a bigger mystery was the prominence of these two women of color before what was supposed to be a racist crowd. Along with other jarring sights at this rally, it didn't match up with her definition of racism. But if she had to define racism, Ricky was not certain that what she saw there would fit. She pushed the thought away. That was impossible. The idea that these folks did not hate people of color or were not homophobic, that they accepted diversity, simply conflicted too strongly with her worldview. Hers was the anti-racist and tolerant bunch. Yeah. I think you're a little bit behind. Pretty sure you're a little bit behind. But yes, 1954. Godless communists. Oh, okay. The people she sat with now were the haters. Not only did they hate whoever did not look like them, they were uncouth and uneducated. Marilyn, for instance. Marilyn's zeal for anything and everything happening at this rally was getting on her nerves. Didn't the woman have any self-awareness? Did she realize how she was broadcasting her bigotry with her constant arm waving and fist pumping? Guys, if you hear loud music at a rally, if you are engaged with the music at a rally, and you are waving your arms around and fist pumping, that means that you are broadcasting your bigotry and not just enjoying the music at a rally. Okay. Glad that we learned this. And she didn't even apologize for all the time she bumped Ricky's shoulder when she jumped up from her seat. It's a fucking rally, you goddamn idiot. Fuck. Liberty. Stop. Liberty, I'm gonna do some digging on you. I want to know who you are. Liberty Adams. We're gonna figure this out. Because I think you're a racist. Ricky sat back and sulked. She considered leaving the venue, except that she was on a mission. There must be another explanation for what she had been witnessing. Something simple that explained away the contradiction. Of course there was, but that was not her concern at the moment. Her purpose today was to blog about the rally, increase her readership for Petra's parlance, and fulfill her final requirement for sisterhood membership. Membership far outweighed in importance these assaults on her senses, these seeming anomalies. She must be willing to sacrifice for the sake of her side. There was nothing to do but wait for the main event. Yeah. It came quickly, almost unexpectedly. When "Proud to be an American" boomed through the speaker system, the crowd went to its feet. The roar as the president walked on stage was overwhelming. She sighed with relief. In an hour or a little more, the circus would come to an end. In the meantime, she would pay attention to the man who was, perhaps, the person she most loathed in all the world. Yes. Bill, you weren't here for that. Okay. Quick recap. Ricky is getting her master's degree in gender studies, and the sisterhood is a feminist activist group on her college campus. Because liberals or something. She brought up the Notes app on her phone. She wanted to get some good quotes. It took some time for everyone to quiet down. He began with remarks on the size of the crowd before moving quickly to bash the media. That Trump and the press had a hostile relationship was something that Ricky knew well. I made that joke earlier, Rav. I said that most sisterhoods that I know of involve traveling pants. Glad we're on the same wavelength with that. I loved those books when I was little. Movie wasn't all that bad either. Every night on the news, the press fought valiantly against the president's attempts to suppress reporters from informing the public of his malfeasance and corruption. It disgusted her that he actually used his contempt of the media to fire up the crowd. You see these people? He said, pointing his finger and sweeping his outstretched arm in front of him. Back there, the fake news. If Pocahontas and Sleepy Joe ever had a crowd like this, the dishonest media would be turning their cameras every which way, letting the viewers see the audience. But with me, they keep the frame tight and square on me, so the viewers can't see what we have standing room only inside, with many times more watching outside on the jumbotrons. The crowd booed on cue. Ricky, unable to help herself, looked at the media risers. The camera operators did not take the bait. Their lenses remained frozen in place, trained directly on the podium. As the boos sounded through the arena, the president shook his head in disgust. Then he stepped back from the mic and strolled the stage, taking in the crowd. Someone started a chant of USA. He seemed totally at ease. And here, surrounded by his sycophant supporters, there was no failed administration and no chaos in the White House. The threat of imminent indictment simply did not exist. She'd been waiting a long time for his indictment. It seemed everybody was. But he did not appear at all to be a man about to be perp-walked from the White House in handcuffs, locked up with his fortune, his life, and his reputation in ruins. Indeed, he joked, smiled a lot, and even engaged in banter with the audience. The venue was filled with a rock concert-like atmosphere. Yeah, most rallies tend to have a rock concert type atmosphere because that's the entire fucking point, to get people like super hyped up about stuff and people and things. It's how it works. You want to get the people hype. You want them to be jumping around. You want them to be at ease, as you say here at Liberty. Liberty, we don't like you. Please stop rating books. Please. It was another thing Ricky saw but could not believe. This guy was a crook? He must be, she thought. After all, the media and her friends told her this night after night. It was one of her and her roommate Karen's favorite topics. Okay, Liberty. I understand that you don't know anything about people or places or things. You know nothing of the things. But you named her Karen. Are you that unoriginal? You named her fucking Karen? You named her Karen. Got it. Okay. Karen. Fucking Christ. But here was the 2020 election in plain sight, with not even a whimper of a charge. But then, What did she expect? He was a billionaire, therefore untouchable, at least so far. But there was one thing Ricky was forced to agree with. Even though many of her sisterhood colleagues reviled the military, Ricky felt a wellspring opening up at the president's support of the veterans. Lizard, when you catch up to this part, take that one. You're more than welcome to take that one. Yeah. Yep. For sure, it was a crowd pleaser. Her applause for this one was genuine, whereas before her reactions were carefully timed and calibrated. Ricky checked her phone for the time. The president had been on stage for nearly an hour. She sat tight, still listening, although she was beginning to scan her notes and add to them. Her notes contained an arsenal of material from which she would tease out the coded language and stretch the truth just enough to spin it into a damning blog post worthy of going viral. Bill Portley says, Liberty, I'll listen to your horrible stories. If you will listen to mine as we speak our truths to each other under the moonlight and stars while drinking and laughing, I should stop. I don't think you should stop. I have read the conversations that you have had with scammers, and I think you should keep going. I think that out of everyone that you have spoken to, scammer or otherwise, I think Liberty would be the one to go for sitting under the moonlight and swapping stories with you. I really do. Yeah. Don't sell yourself short there, Bill. I think you got this. I really do. Ricky congratulated herself when the president finished. She checked the time again. She was in no hurry, with the exits now clogged with rally-goers. She continued to type out notes and made a call to Karen, her roommate. We know you just said at the very top of this fucking page that Karen is her roommate. Liberty learned how to write. Anyway. To tell her what time she expected to be home. She would try and make the 10 p.m. trolley. That was the end of chapter 3, you guys. Like, that's how she ended chapter 3. Okay, we're already in chapter 4. This is page 18 of a 79-page book. I still have like an hour before I have to go do anything. So, yes, Two Guns. Her roommate's name is Karen. Okay. Let's see how far into chapter 4 we can get before I decide that I have had enough of this horseshit for today and we will continue another. Okay. Okay, wait, which part am I explaining all of the things that have happened thus far? Do you guys need the full story recap again? I can give you a full story recap again if you need it. It's fine. It's fine. Yes, that is exactly what Liberty is trying to do. She is trying to dump Karens on libs. It's great. It's so great. Like, Liberty still needs to have all the grass. I don't know. Maybe Yato stole her lawn and that's why she hasn't touched grass in so long. Someone please find out if Yato stole Liberty's lawn. Because that would make a lot of sense right now. Okay. Chapter 4. Let's get going. By the time the president boomed his last signature, crowd roaring, "We will make America great again" chant. Mike had one man-sized crush on a pint-sized woman just from watching her. Green hair, black lips, easy to pick out even when the crowd was on its feet, cheering, which was often. She'd sat mostly quiet, although a few times he caught her quietly applauding, occasionally standing, perhaps caught up in the mood of the ladies all around her. But outside at night, in a river of people all trying to exit, her dark clothing and small size made her almost disappear. So he watched her closely, fascinated by her, but alert to the threats posed by the protesters, anti-fascists especially. The police would be few and far between in the vast parking lot on the outskirts of the venue, and their assistance could not be counted on. Clearly, out of her element, he needed to be her eyes and ears. Excuse me, sir? 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 No. Absolutely the fuck not, no. Just... Liberty, keep your weird stalker fetishes out of your book. Because, well, ew. After the rally, she hunkered down in her chair, texting like mad, taking an occasional call. Mike did the same. Security shooed her out of the arena once the sea of attendees thinned. He made his exit too, but stayed out of her field of vision. So he's stalking her. Got it. She was on the phone again. He could see her head tilt this way and that as she walked, her focus on her conversation. Perhaps she was paying only enough attention to not trip. As unaware as she was, she needed watching over, and there was only one soul in this whole crowd who was willing to do it. This shit just got weird, you guys. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was going to get this weird. Yeah. This is a thing that's happening now, and I'm so sorry. But we're going to keep going. He was his grandfather's boy, and Mike knew very well how useful his type could be. He didn't take her hostility in the trolley car personally. All he wanted was a chance to talk to her. Mike scanned their surroundings for threats, then focused in on her. For such a small body, she had a strong build. Oof. Oof. She had straight shoulders with a tiny waist, cinched in with a narrow belt, her shirt tucked into a snug pair of jeans. Her breasts were firm and well-shaped, nice to look at. Dude. Mike, you're stalking her. Liberty, you're talking about a Trump rally. You even made a pussy grabber comment earlier. And now the good old boy that you were talking about that was in the trolley car at the beginning of the thing is now stalking her. He's going to grab her by the pussy, isn't he? Is that what we're doing today? Is this where we're at? Okay. Okay. No, Two Guns. I am going to keep going. Because this is what we're doing today. This is my life right now. I am in a great mood. Today is wonderful. Let's keep going, shall we? Let's talk about Ricky. This is a conceal carry sheepdog fantasy, totally oblivious to the stalker. Yes, that is exactly what it is. Thank you. You get it. You get it. I like you, Two Guns. Okay. In the amber glow of the parking lot lights, he watched the pelting rain grow heavier. She had no coat, only a hoodie tied around her waist. This she untied and slipped into. Well, no fucking shit she's going to take off her hoodie and put it on in the fucking rain. Thanks, Liberty. It's good to know that those were the steps taken. She untied the hoodie from her waist and wore it. Fantastic. I needed the visual. She skirted the crowd, keeping her phone in her hand, her vision trained on the screen. That hoodie wasn't enough to keep a pissant warm, let alone dry, and with this rain, a serious chill would catch her before long. Why are you so concerned about how, like, chilly she is in a hoodie in the rain when she's trying to leave a rally? We don't even know what time of year it is, or where she lives, like, what rally she's at. What in the fuck are you doing here, Liberty? Why are you allowing someone in your book to be stalked? You wrote this. You made this choice. This was your decision. Oh, that's fine, Two Guns. You do what you need to do. Real life comes first. And I just happen to have a pause between real life things to do this real quick. So, okay. Let's go. Something slammed him hard from behind. He stopped, pissed off he'd let his attention wander. He knew what it was. Anti-fascists. The black hooded figures and bandana faces gave them away. Somehow, they'd managed to infiltrate the throng of peaceful rally-goers without attracting attention. The punks ran and jumped through the crowd, tripping people, pushing and shoving, stirring up mayhem. He reached out to a couple of them and pulled down their masks. At least 3 set on him, but it was like taking out his sisters. 2 quick shoves and a boot in the same jerk's belly, and he was free. You do that to your sisters? You do that to your sisters? You put your boot in their bellies? Liberty, why are you allowing this fictional man around the fictional women that you write up? What? I am so confused why you think this is okay. I really am. I might end up going through this entire fucking 8-pack of water that I've been working on. Because, wow. Yes, Bill, he kicks his sisters in the gut, apparently. He is a stand-up fictional man. Yeah. Yep. He looked at the girl sprite. She was surrounded by them, paying attention now. They were pushing her, raising bike locks and bats at her, screaming and taunting, driving her backwards and further away from him. He saw her stumble, unable to escape the bullies. Why they'd chosen to pick on her, he couldn't fathom. All he knew was they'd chosen wrong. I don't think Liberty believes in domestic violence. You know, I think you might be 100% correct. Yeah. Sounds about right. One of them shoved her. He saw her step backwards into the punk's partner in crime. She raised her arms to try to shield herself. Her phone flew from her grasp. Now her attention was fully on the bullies. Self-preservation became her goal. A few men tried to intervene, but the anti-fascists soon overwhelmed them with their numbers. It's the anti-fascists, you guys. Remember that. Apparently at Trump rallies, it's not the Trump rally goers that are the issue. It is the anti-fascists that beat people with bike locks and bats. Yeah. Yeah. They beat back the men, 2 or 3 to 1, who had to retreat to save their own skins. Just as he reached her, something bumped his foot. Her phone. She saw it at the same moment. She dove for it, but one of the bullies caught her in the side with his boot and bent her double. She howled and went to her knees, but managed to stand up again. The bullies swarmed in and surrounded her. Mike stepped in, intending to make jello out of the coward who kicked her in the ribs. His big body easily broke the wall of wimps who turned on him. He swooped low, grabbed the phone, and shoved it in his coat pocket. On his way up, he slammed into the pricks who'd assaulted her, then saw the one who'd put a shoe into her side. He plowed his elbow into the guy's nose. A crunch and a scream followed. Guys, don't do that. Do not do that. Do not elbow someone in the fucking nose. Not so much that you hear a crunch and they scream. You want to know why? Because you can fucking kill them that way. And the thing is, in this imaginary scenario, sure, there would not be an issue with that. It would be seen as self-defense, or it would be seen as an act of kindness in trying to help someone else. But I digress. Do not do that to people. Do not kill people. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. He felt like Moses parting the Red Sea as he grabbed her wrist to pull her out of the melee. Escape time. She fought him, pulling back, thinking he was with the assault group. Well, no, he's just been stalking her since he saw her on the trolley and feels as though he needs to keep an eye on her and protect her at all costs, even though he doesn't know her. And the anti-fascists are apparently going to get her. Liberty. This book is a train wreck. I don't know what to think of this book, Liberty, besides it's a train wreck. Let's go. He yanked harder than he wanted, but it was past time to flee. All around them was an unholy mass of black-clad punks. More than he could count, creating a ribbon of rage and violence. He steered the two of them, running away from the crowd, pulling her after him. Even in this heightened state, he was careful not to grip too hard and bruise her wrist. But he'll stalk her, and he'll put his boot in his sister's guts. Got it. Christ. It was so small. Still she resisted. He couldn't blame her for that. She had no idea who he was or where he was taking her, but she was no match for his strength anyway. So wait, the bullies were able to beat back a horde of Trumpists, but are getting wrecked by this one guy who is presumably the guy on the cover. Yes. Actually, the guy on the cover came from a freelance book cover site called covers100.com. Anyone can go and make their own book covers. Just letting that be known. That's a thing that's out there. But yes. Yes. He's a good old boy. So, he has to fight off all the people. I fucking hate this book. Let's go. He stopped and took her by the shoulders. He could hear the mob behind them, interspersed with the rally-goers. It sounded like a full-blown riot. The throngs were making their way toward the exit gates, to their cars, to the trolley stop. He grabbed her tighter and shoved his face into hers. Come with me. There isn't time to explain. That's such a trope. Her shoulders heaved from fright, from adrenaline, from the exertion, but she understood. He caught in her expression a glimpse of recognition of him as the man from the trolley. Because, yep, she would totally, absolutely, 100% remember this one-off dude from the trolley that apparently she wanted to, curse his grandfather's name. Which made no sense, by the way. Even in context. There was no context to the grandfather thing. She just very clearly has a lot of daddy issues. Yeah. This shit makes no sense and has very rapey undertones. It's also filled to the brim with Facebook memes. Yes, it does. It does have very rapey undertones. It does not make sense. And we're still going to read more. because I am torturing myself and y'all this morning, and whoever may watch this replay later, I'm going to torture them as well, because yeah, it's a day. We're having fun. She nodded, her eyes wide. You'll get hurt, he said. We'll get hurt. We've got to get out of here. These guys don't mess around. They want blood. Yours, mine, whoever. But yours is easier to take than mine. What? Guys, the anti-fascists are coming for blood, okay? The anti-fascists are coming for blood. We must escape. But the cops. She was on the verge of hysterics. Hello, Mr. Teeth. I don't think I've seen you around before. Maybe I have. I am unsure. But hello. We're reading a book. Let's continue our book. Have a stand-down order. She probably hated cops. They all did until a situation like this arose. Oh, hey, Mr. Fear. Okay, got you. But her fear shone like a beacon. She was terrified. Rightfully. At least now she had a sense of the danger. The crowd behind was losing its cohesive movement. The anti-fascists were creating small systems of chaotic reaction as pockets of rioting broke out. He softened his tone, certain now she was ready to listen to him. Stay with me and hang on to my hand. My phone! Because that's her biggest concern right now is, her fucking phone. Thanks, Liberty. Liberals love their phones. The anti-fascists are coming for blood. Good to know. I've got it. We're out of time. Now let's go. She nodded in agreement with small, quick up and down jerks of her head because that's how nodding works, you guys. In case you didn't know, when you nod, you do up and down motion with your head. That's nodding. I don't know why she had to describe it in the book. Maybe she was trying to reach her word count in this 79-page torture fest. But that is how you nod. I am so glad that she taught us. Thank you. Thank you, Liberty Adams, for teaching us how to nod. Oh, fuck. Better. Now that she was with him, they would make faster progress. For a bunch of confused wimps, the anti-fascists seem very well organized. Yeah, they are. I'm sorry about that. I keep hitting the side buttons on my mouse and I don't know how to turn those side button functions off. So my bad. I keep leaving my own stream, which is just fantastic. It's fan-fucking-tastic. It's a morning. But I'm still in a great mood. Yeah. I'm just dumb, Bill. I keep fucking shit up. That's all. Moving along. They took off again, running harder this time. He could feel her, still behind him, urging him forward, not pulling back anymore. They reached the last row of cars and sprinted toward the exit gate. Some of the crowd hurried behind them. Mike threw a quick backward glance in the direction of the mob assault. The smell of smoke was accompanied by flames of orange on the black sky. Against the flames, against the light of the parking lot, the rain kept falling. He was glad he hadn't brought his truck here, even though he needed some way out of the danger. Because, of course, he drives a truck. And the anti-fascists have now domesticated arson. So here's where we are in that rally. All right. What's a stand-down order? She shouted through her panting. He wondered why she was asking that now. It means don't do your job. Talking hurt his lungs, made him gasp for breath. Don't ask questions, just run. They reached the gate. He pushed her through in front of the cars that sat, bottlenecked, waiting for directions from traffic control. They exited onto the sidewalk of a side street. Mike steered them toward the nearest traffic light. They were alone now. It was quieter away from the crowd, and he hoped the punks. They stopped to wait for the traffic light. He took his phone from his pocket. The time read 9:15 p.m. He dialed his foreman, Ronan Hazard. Why do we need to know his full name? Like, we don't know Mike's last name. We don't know Ricky's last name. We don't know Ricky's roommate Karen's last name. We just know that she's Karen. Why? Ronan. His breath was heavy. Boss? Ronan was his relaxed, casual self. Need some help here, Ro. Ran into some trouble. I need you to come get us. Us? I'll explain later. Just meet me on 35th. We're heading west, south of Green Tree. Right. Mike hung up. Because that's usually how you end calls. I'm not going with you anywhere. He was getting pissed. Just shut up and run. Because that's how you talk to people. He took her hand again, more firmly, and kept running. She was dragging behind, protesting the punishing pace. He slowed to a fast walk. Finally, he saw Ronan's truck turn onto the street just ahead of them and stop. Mike pulled open the door of the rear cab and turned to her, ready to hoist her inside. Oh no, she set back on her heels. He didn't know how she had the strength to resist like this. Oh no, what? I'm not going anywhere with you. Do you know what we just escaped from? They get paid to do this. Guys, the anti-fascists get paid to start fires at Trump rallies. You heard it here first. It's written in this book. It must be true. The anti-fascists get paid to start fires at Trump rallies. Thank you. They'll keep coming. All you are to them is something not bloody enough. She didn't move, only stood there in defiance of him. Mike shrugged and dropped her hand. Your choice. He didn't have time to argue. In the driver's seat, Ronan was turned around, watching them, halfway smiling. Mike climbed in and sat down and looked down at her. I'm not staying here. Get in now or you're on your own. He reached for the door handle. My phone. Because she's so concerned about her God damn it, Liberty. He tossed it to her. She caught it. Good job. I'll call you an Uber, he said. Stay where you are. He started to close the door. Wait. Well, okay, if you gave her her phone, why can't she call her own fucking Uber? You just pull up the app, you select what your destination is. It gives you the it's very easy to use. Why do you think that you have to do it for her? She's a big girl. Do it herself. Oh, wait, no, she's a woman, so a man has to do it all. Never mind. He started to close the door. Wait. Well, she stuck out her hand. What's your name? Like it would help matters. Was she serious? Mike. And we can't wait all night. Mike what? Mike what? I can't even... Jorgensen, okay? Oh. Okay. Mike Jorgensen, you guys. This is Mike Jorgensen. Mike Jorgensen. The girl sprite stuck out her hand. Hi, Mike Jorgensen. I'm Ricky. Ricky Ellis. From the front seat, Ronan began to laugh. Mike shook hands. Well, okay, Ricky Ellis. This is Ronan. Ronan, this is Ricky. Because we're doing all of the introductions right here, right now, at the truck. Hello, Ricky. Hi, Ronan. Because this is how conversation works, you guys. We are learning things today. Thank you, Liberty. Okay, can you get in now? He saw her hesitate, then glanced towards the arena. The mob was still out there. She vaulted through the partially closed door like a scared rabbit, landing on top of him. For a moment, he held her in his lap, feeling her tremble. He slammed the door shut. This sounds really rapey. I do not like this. Let's continue. Go, Ro. Her dripping form tumbled over him into the opposite seat. She hugged the door, looking at him as if she might be his next murder victim. Probably. Do you hear the way that this character is written? I would not be surprised if she was. Ronan hung a U-turn and turned back, because that's what happens when you do a U-turn, you guys. You go back. Oh my fucking God. As the streetlights washed through the truck's interior, he saw she was still trembling. Fright, cold. He took off his jacket. Up the heat, Ronan, would you? Thanks. Yes, blue lamp. This is very riveting. Don't worry. There will be a part 2 to this book series. And then we will read book 2. And we will read book 3. We will have fun with this. Because this is the MAGA Hat Romance series. He scooted an inch toward her, holding up the coat. The inside would be warm from his body heat. That's how heat works. Carefully, he draped it over her. His grandfather would be proud. They keep bringing up his when he was on the trolley at the very beginning, like, they mentioned his grandfather just out of the blue. Like, Ricky wanted to, like, curse his grandfather's name or some such shit. And now they're talking about his grandfather again. Like, Liberty, do you also have granddaddy issues? Because you sound like you have some granddaddy issues to go with your daddy issues. Take this. She shot him a look, but snugged it in close to her. Her hair was matted flat to her head from the rain. The black makeup was smeared and running down her cheeks. Given her condition, it fit. Like she was orphaned or something. Like she needed love. Because liberals don't have love, and they need it, you guys. Keep this in mind. The anti-fascists are paid to set fires at Trump rallies, and liberal women with smeared makeup need love. Amen. He felt sympathy and protectiveness, even though she'd been an asshole earlier on the train. You gave me this because you think I'm weak. Well, at the moment, aren't you? If you don't like it, you can give it back. Hey, you two, said Ronan. Boss, where to? Mike thought for a moment. He wanted to get his truck, now parked in his driveway. It was left home in favor of the trolley. But he was uncertain. He wanted a stiff drink, too, but he needed to eat, and he could use some strong coffee. He turned to Ricky. What's your name again? Sorry. He felt like a jerk for not remembering her name. After all, he'd just saved her from a vicious mob attack. Her eyes shifted to see him. She was sullen in her little corner, bunched up like a heap of laundry he might leave on the floor, because that's how you were supposed to describe a woman. Yep. Ricky. He'd get her home safe and sound. But first, yeah, Ricky, you hungry? She just sort of made herself smaller and didn't answer. Well, I want some coffee. You want coffee? This time she nodded. He could see the earrings in her ears as they bobbed up and down in the dimness. Because, again, that is how you nod. Your head moves up and down, and if you're wearing dangling jewelry, they'll usually bob too. I am so glad that we are learning these things. Drop us off at the diner, would you, Ronan? Sure, boss. Ronan put his foot to the gas and sped on through the night, and we have somehow made it through 4 chapters of this garbage in 2 hours. This book is ridiculous, and I cannot take anymore. I'm gonna be so okay. So we will continue this another day. I promise. I will not leave you guys hanging on what happens between Mike and Ricky. And why is Ronan there? And what's going on with roommate Karen? How many more paid anti-fascists are there going to be in this book? How many more times are we going to see potential domestic violence situations? I I love this so much and I hate it all at the same time. I will make a note that we are on chapter 5, though, because I don't want to forget. This book is absolutely overwrought, ham-fisted, and sounds like what happens when you let a MAGA hat get a hold of pen and paper. Well, isn't it amazing that she has a collection of MAGA hats that she likes to wear, all in varying styles. I am so sorry that I have subjected you guys to this nonsense. I will come up with a day to continue this. Tomorrow I have work. I have things that I have to do. I'm also going to be working on a puzzle because I like to do puzzles. I know that tonight Security Monitor Lizard is doing a stream about Russia Ukraine again on his backup channel called Backup Monitor. If you guys are not subscribed to Backup Monitor or like didn't even know that that was a thing because you're not in the Discord or anything like that, then I will actually post that link for you because, well, we would like to have all the people there. That's just how it goes. Let's see. Oh. Why don't they just blame Canada instead? That is a very good question. I think that it would be very good to blame Canada. You should always blame Canada, actually. Here is the link to the Backup Monitor channel because Russia-Ukraine is something that is very important to talk about because as it is a traditional war, there could be potential implications for other countries, and it's good to know what is going on. So please go check that out tonight. I have to work Saturday, but I might do a pop-up stream and play games with people again. So just keep an eye out and ear out. And then, yeah, that's just about it. As always, in my description, there are the links to the various donation thingies, but I'd rather you donate to the Satanic Temple Reproductive Rights Legal Aid Fund. There are links for resource hubs for LGBTQIA plus individuals and their families. There are the reproductive health resources in there, and there are the links to the other Pervs streamers like Pearlfish and Vila Vendetta and Slim Cyborg. And yeah, so please go check them out. I hope that everyone has a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time.